Hello, everyone. So, I want to express my sincere gratitude for today's opportunity, and I'm absolutely happy to share my story. And what better platform than this one? Lower middle class as a perception, and it can be deemed as a barrier or an opportunity. And my story is all about manifesting opportunities in adversities. So, every lower middle class family offers you limited options and chasing your dreams and passions are rarely on that list. In short, struggle is a part of your life since day one. And all of that is just to have a safe job. However, it was a bit different in my case. I was the firstborn of the family after a long, painful wait of 7 years, and I enjoyed all the love, attention, affection, and care I wanted. Of course, along with that, added some weight of high expectations. Although my parents were not highly educated, they wanted me to study from the best school they could afford. They wanted me to do everything, including the things which they have seen only children of affluent parents doing. And of course, best education was top of their list. Yet, it was schooling where my struggle really began. Let me explain you why and maybe how. My parents admitted me to the government school in Poway. When we came to Mumbai and we started living in a shanty or a chawl, you can say. So imagine for a boy who's not complete 4 years old also, and he is being admitted into first grade, who has never seen the face of a school, how actually it looks like. And more than that, the only language which he knew is Bhojpuri. On my first day, my mom took me to the school and I saw my class teacher and I hid behind my mom. I still remember that moment when she dragged me and got me onto the first bench. I cried my eyes out. But there was one more person who was crying more than me. She was my mum, standing outside the classroom and peeping from a small glass opening of a wooden door. Since then, till now, my mom was and she is my biggest support system. On the very same day, uh, my teacher told me to introduce myself to the entire class. But how can a child who doesn't speak a word of Hindi speak English? So months passed, and I felt like it was better to keep quiet than to become a laughing stock or a free of cost clown for whole class. I steadily became an introvert, and I even faked being deaf to ignore all the mean names I was assigned. But deep down, I knew that I had enough of this, and I will start to listen to everyone closely and will try to focus on learning the languages, that's Hindi and English. And apart from that, when I was in fourth grade, uh, there was a teacher who nearly pushed me to do a play which I was reluctant to participate. But it was my annual school day, and she was like, "You should do this play, and it would help you to make new friends." And I eventually took part on that play, and something I never imagined myself doing. And this changed my life. At the end of the play, there was a pin drop silence. Generally, the silence is the same, but gradually the silence changed to a form of cheering, then whistles, then finally claps everywhere. And I realized that this was the first time people were clapping for me. And it was like magic to me. And that very moment, I decided that I want to do this. This is what I wanted, and I will be an actor. On the same day, as soon as I reached home, I told my mom that I want to be an actor, mom. As always, she was supportive, but also reminded me about academics. Both of us were totally unaware of this world of acting. Yet, she said, go ahead, try it. But she gave me the most important advice in my life: always have a backup plan. Simultaneously, during my school years, I observed the older boys in school play football, and this sparked a new interest in me. Once my love for sports grew, so did my confidence, and a few of my intense insecurities were put down forever. And this only happened because I went out of my comfort zone and tried something completely new to me in a successful attempt to reinvent myself. And so I was set off on a path of pursuing my dreams and also keeping track of plan B. However, new lessons and experiences are always a part of life. As I continued on my path, I encountered another passion that would grow in me, that was to share and care. One day, when I was coming on my way home from school, I met a child who was around 8 years of age and who tried to sell me a balloon on the street. Given his age, I asked him, do you go to school? And unfortunately, he said, I couldn't because I need to arrange food for my family. While I was proud of him for trying to take care of his family, and at such a young age, I also felt sad that he was missing onto the school and education. I realized how grateful I was and how lucky I am. In a spur of a moment decision, I asked him, will you study if I teach you? He looked excited and said, yes, every day. But after arranging food for my family, I smiled and said, okay, that's your call. So the very next day, I started teaching him. For 2 continuous years, I gave him lectures, made him wear my clothes, and arranged food for his family. And the money I used to earn was from a bi-weekly promotional event that used to pay me around 500 rupees a day actually. From then on, I made it my mission to help kids like him. The mission continued, and when I was in 12th grade, I got introduced to an NGO which taught unprivileged kids free of cost. And this is where I shed my introversion and the extrovert in me started developing. During this time, I even helped few students caught up in addiction and substance abuse. And sports was mainly the focus, and it helped them, and that students uh, reinvented themselves and emerge as a better humans. After that, I also represented Mumbai in football and table tennis, and I was back to being confident and manifesting success, and I came across Oscar, an NGO that is working in things related to football and again changing life of various other students. And then came my mother's teaching of sharing knowledge. And without a second thought, I enrolled in the sports training. Somehow, Plan B had taken center stage, but I always knew I wanted to be an actor, achieve what I always wanted and manifested for. I searched for the places where I can, learn the craft, but fees were comparatively high, and my family and I couldn't afford it. And I even thought of moving away from the acting and pursuing football actively. But for plan A, that was acting, I required money. And I joined one of the leading companies, taking into consideration that the company was once a sponsor of a big football club. So I could pursue football and earn money. And from that money, I could pay my dues or fees for acting rather. And I never lacked in manifesting, never. And maybe that was the reason I got an opportunity to do theater and workshop at the same time with slightly less money comparatively. Then I got an opportunity from Oscar to join a young leader program where I was getting the opportunity to train young children in football and also help them in studies too. Uh, Weekdays I was busy with football and my job, and weekends happy with my theater acting and passion. Uh, to be precise, to be frank, it was not as easy as I had imagined it would be. I had issues coping up with the schedule, and schedule was like job, football, sessions with children, gym, acting classes, etc. etc. And trust me, the only thing which worked here for me was focus, courage, and desire of how badly you want anything to happen. And that acts as a motivation to you. This thing continued for 1 year, and I was still an average performer. I decided I should leave the job and start acting full time. And I did so. Now I was improving in the craft of acting, but I was struggling to pay the fees. In spite of my all efforts, I was just a guy who was serving tea to my fellow theater professionals and watching them do plays from backstage. I wondered what was holding me back, and it dawned on me. That was the block was my thinking, surroundings, and people around me. And as always said, and that's rightly said, new battles need a new approach. So I decided to change everything. Now was the time for three crucial words to come into picture. That's that is, reinvent, reinforce, and resonate. I uh, kind of started with the first problem. That was my thinking, my own thinking. And I had heard somewhere that you are the replica of five people around you. And society had taught me that not to hang out with girls and female co-artists. I was I was a product of outdated thinking, and it was imperative for me to change that thinking. Uh, I was I was always uncomfortable taking and performing, and I was always uncomfortable in talking to them. And if there's a scene with a girl, I used to do, nothing except standing in a corner. I decided everything should be changed, and of course, Oscar was always around to help me to cope up with this change. And so, yes, then I started with reinventing myself and reinforcing my changed values, and that resonated with every person who surrounds me. And now this is new me, and I'm ready to change myself as many times as it is required to fulfill my dreams that I have manifested. And after doing this, I was completely changed boy. And after that only, I did my first commercial play, that was Bichu, and from there I never really stopped doing plays. I've been performing plays all over India. It's indeed a long story, and I have omitted several details, but today I'm only 22, and I felt lucky to have given my first proper audition, and I'm selected for an upcoming Sony TV drama. In all my sessions with young minds and the children's living in slums, or the guys which I'm teaching, I always tell them my favorite quote, that is, your dreams are valid no matter where you are from. And I sincerely follow this. And also sometimes say them that universe has abundance of things. You just have to manifest it and be strong mentally to handle that. And your dreams is the first test or step for your goals. So this is what I say, and I follow also. And I do not say that I have reached my goal or I have set any milestone. However, I can say that I will always be on a constant path of achieving what I manifest and dream of. And no matter what it will take me to reinvent, reinforce, and resonate, I will do it because I know change is always for good. And I would like to close only with this thought, that if you let people's perception of you dictate your behavior, you will never grow as a person. But if you let yourself open to experience despite what others think, then you will learn and grow. So, thank you so much for listening to me.